Welcome back, reality designers. Deni here, your host with Hypnosis by Design. I want to get right into today's topic because we're going to be talking about the two manifestor types. And as a 5-1 emotional manifestor, I've read the book that Ra wrote called The Manifestor Manifesto. Yeah. And in there, it talks about this specific energy and the ins and outs of it. So a lot of it resonated with me, but some of it didn't. But the question I'm asked a lot are about manifestors and then the different types. And I started thinking about that. I'm like, well, there's two main manifestor types, and there's three authorities. So we have the emotional, which makes up about 51%, same as the overall population and energy types. So the emotional manifestor makes up about 51%. And then the other type, Raj just calls them unemotional. So we have the two types. We have emotional and unemotional. But we have three authority types. Two of them are unemotional. So we want to talk about these two and discuss these two manifestor types, emotional and unemotional. So while these two types share the core manifestor traits of initiation and impact, they do differ significantly in their internal experience and how they navigate decision making. So I am an emotional manifestor, 5-1, left angle cross of education. That might not mean anything to you, but that little sentence I just said could say a lot to somebody who's really went down the rabbit hole of human design. But if it doesn't mean anything to you, that's okay, because we're going to get into the details of that and what that means. So an unemotional manifestor, they are described as spontaneous beings whose authority operates in the now, in the present moment. They are the splenic and egoic authority. And their approach to life is existential. And they don't require time to process emotions before taking action. Okay. However, emotional manifestors require quite significant time. Unemotional manifestors, again, they are spontaneous beings. They're in the now. And this is the only way for them to have authority is to be in the now. And it also means not being in the mind. So if you're in your mind, you're not in your authority. Get into the now. Now, emotional manifestors, on the other hand, constitute 51%, just like the overall population. We rely on our emotional wave as the authority. So you're riding the emotional wave. And for me, as an emotional manifester, I had to learn how to ride that wave because when the emotional wave came, it usually knocked me down. And I was fighting it, trying to stay on the surface and creating and wasting all of this energy, right? So now it's like, okay, there's an emotional wave coming. Just like when you're on a surfboard. I've never been on a surfboard, but I've been on a skateboard, I've been on rollerblades, and I've been on roller skates. So when you're riding that, sometimes the surface is not, completely smooth. When you're riding that wave, you have to really focus and concentrate on your balance, because as soon as I put my focus, attention, and awareness on something else, I can completely knock myself out of balance off of that emotional wave. So, what we need to do is understand that this is potentially, as Ra says, one of the most powerful places to be because this is an energy resource that we can use or misuse. So the more I learn how to use this energy resource, the more I realize how much access I have to it that others don't. And this is a very powerful place to be when you understand how your energy works in this way. So, as we carry an enormous amount of energy resources, when we understand this wave, we become like disseminators of the wave. And you use your creativity and imagination when you do this. So I can send a wave out in my environment. I started practicing doing this while driving. If somebody was too close to me, behind me, I would just send out a wave of space. Just send out a wave of space. I would imagine my space getting larger and then just leave it at that, bless them behind me, whatever. Let it go. Important to just let it go, not focus on the guy, call him an asshole, you're too close to me, that kind of thing. None of that, because we don't want to create that wave. If I create that wave, just even in my thought process, I can trigger that person to react and be repelled by my energy and maybe even project onto me. So, what I want to do is disseminate a wave of space. Just give me some space and then just continuing driving. Next thing you know, the person's 4 or 5 car lengths behind me. So, this uses creativity and imagination. However, unlike our unemotional counterparts, as Ra says, we do require time to reach clarity before making decisions. And sometimes we have to go through a process. I'm a single definition, so sometimes when I go through my process and I say I'm done, I'm done. But if you're a split or triple definition, you may need time to go through your individual islands and have an opportunity to communicate with them. That takes time and self-reflection. So give yourself that time. Not your mind saying, hurry up, you got to come up with a response, you got to come up with an idea or whatever the situation is that is coming at you from the outside. This is a process that is internal, and this helps us disseminate waves of this system. And it is a system because this system operates out of a motor wave that goes through the aura of an emotional being. However, unemotional beings require time to reach clarity before making decisions. So this process unfolds over time and cannot be rushed. I'm going to say that again. Unlike unemotional beings, so unemotional beings are in the moment. And when they feel it, they know it, they're right here, right now. So, unlike those beings, our unemotional counterparts, we require time to reach clarity. And if you're working with a manifestor who's splenic or egoic, and they come to that decision and they're clear, and you're just like, I don't know, I'm kind of hemming and hawing and weighing and trying to balance on the wave. Give yourself that time. Don't compare yourself to them thinking, I should come to a decision faster. That's in the mind. Get into your emotional body and feel that wave. Because again, unlike our unemotional counterparts, we require this additional time to reach that clarity to make decisions. So be okay with that. If you just take one thing from today and you're an emotional being, especially an emotional manifestor, be okay with taking the time you need. All right, so this process over time unfolds and it cannot be rushed. It just can't be rushed. And when you rush it, you create problems. Trust me, I know. You just create problems. And now in hindsight, looking back, now that you know your energy type, looking back, you might realize, oh wow, my trying to be something I'm not really created some issues, didn't it? Now you have this clarity and ability to move forward. So again, Ra emphasized, he is the author of the book, The Manifestor Manifesto. He emphasized the importance of patience for emotional manifestors. Have patience with us, please. Just have patience. because our clarity doesn't manifest in words sometimes. Sometimes we have to go and dive deep, and we need space and solitude for this. So we might have to go deeper into a space to receive this inner knowing. And then for me, as a professional linguist, I need time to process so I can put language to it. And once I'm able to put language to it, it's almost like creating a puzzle piece to bring thoughts and ideas together that create internal expansion and opening and understanding. So, emotional manifestors are not spontaneous beings. So, I want to share something that I learned. So, in the book, Manifestor, Ra emphasized the phrase, not now. I started using something similar in this realm when I came across emotions kind of overflowing. So, using the phrase, not now. And this, using this as a crucial aspect of being an emotional being, especially an emotional manifestor with your process. So, what we're doing is we're starting the deconditioning experiment, right? So, you're experimenting with tools or processes or programming that you can incorporate into your nervous system. And it takes time, it takes practice. But once you practice it, it becomes unconscious. You just start doing it. So I began to realize that I was unconsciously doing the not now method that Ra talked about. And it highlights our needs to honor our emotional waves, fluctuations, and to only act when clarity has emerged. So if I'm in a space where everything's muddied, I don't know what to do, I feel out of balance, it doesn't feel clear to me, my response is not now, or many times, not yet. Not yet also works for me because my body needs more time to process whatever it is that it is processing. So, not now or not yet helps me stay out of my mind, right? Because our mind wants to fix it, wants to figure it out, it wants to do something. Because remember, manifestors are not the doers. So it's not the doing we need, it's the processing. So not now. And then you'll come to a space of clarity, and the next step will become very clear. It'll be obvious, I have to do this next. It'll be without any effort at all. It will be effortless for sure. So, besides the emotional authority, there are other authority types for manifestors. And we touched on this a little bit. There are three authority types. There's the emotional, we talked about that one, and then the splenic and egoic. And then there's also the sacral authority type. Generators tend to be all sacral authority types, and they have so much energy that they are the doers. They are amazing doers, but they also need clarity as well. And when Ra was explaining the differences between the manifestors, he didn't talk about the emotional, egoic, or splenic. He really focused in on the emotional and unemotional. So those were the two types. And Ra emphasized that manifestors possess an inner authority that serves as their guide and should be followed for correct action and manifestation. All energy types are able to manifest. Manifestors are manifestors because they're the initiator and their energy is big. I mean, it's a big energy. Whereas if a generator walks into the room, they might feel like their energy kind of disappears. So it could feel repelling to them. Or for some energy types, it's very magnetizing. So it's either repelling or magnetizing. So I'm learning those energy types that are repelled by my energy. So what I do is communicate, say, hey, how's it going? Come on over. Let's talk about this. If I'm at a place where we're all talking about the same topic. So I send out an invitation for them to come into my energy. If I don't do that, it's like they literally stay on the boundaries way over there of my energy. So here I want to talk about some points about manifestor communication. And there are 5 points, and these communication points can be used in all energy types, but very specifically for manifestors. So if you are a manifestor or have a manifestor in your life, listen up, because informing is a two-way street. Communication is two ways. So if you're not seeing this, you can look up American Sign Language, the sign for communication. But if you're watching the video, this is the sign for communication. So I'm moving my hands back and forth alternatively at like a two-way street. So informing is a two-way street. So when others inform a manifestor, they change their relationship with the manifestor by showing respect and acknowledging our unique aura. See, I didn't know about this, but I always respected somebody who informed me rather than told me what to do. Like the exercise instructor in the 90s. Okay, now I want you to do this. Heck no, I ain't doing this because you want me to and told me to. That's just a manifestor. So you want to invite them to do these things and respect and acknowledge their unique nature. And the manifestor is more likely to act on information received this way rather than a wall go up. And what happens, I really started to pay attention to this, like, why does this anger come up? And I touched on this a little bit before, but when somebody tells me what to do, it feels like I have to make my energy very small and constricted. And when I have to do that, whether consciously or unconsciously, it literally hurts my body and it creates tension that needs to be released. So if I'm holding on that tension all day long and making my energy small to be programmed by other manifestors to look and act like them and make my energy small, whether consciously or unconsciously, we're doing this. It hurts. And it creates this need to just punch out of it. And I realized, oh my gosh, that's where the anger is. And Ra talked about this being a chemical reaction in the body. It's almost like we have no control over it. And when I started learning about my human design in 2016, and I realized I needed to redirect this because when I go into environments, they're going to condition me unconsciously. They're going to condition me. And it makes my energy feel small. I have to make my energy small. And so what I did was I found a way to release that. So I learned Taekwondo, black belt, doing some kicks and punches. But this was a way to release that chemical reaction. And you can do this any way to release that extra built up energy. It's a phenomenal way. It's scientifically backed way to release this excess potential that can actually kick us in the ass later on if we don't do something about it. We get the consequences of it, and sometimes they're negative consequences. All right, so we already talked about this next point, that manifestors have a powerful impact on others, consciously or unconsciously. So I'm a 5-1. So you'll see in human design a number/number. So I'm a 5/1. The first number we tend to be consciously aware of. That's the heretic. I'm very aware of the heretic. And then the 1 is the researcher. I love researching and I'm very unconscious of it. Next thing you know, I'm diving down a rabbit hole. And so I've done a significant amount of research over the last 20 years on neuroscience and language and linguistics. So this helps to have a powerful impact on others, just having this knowledge and this space, because this impact stems from this closed and repelling nature of our aura. And this could make others feel uneasy unconsciously. So again, I've had people tell me out of the blue, I don't even know their name, I just met them, and they're like, "You're intimidating." And I'm like, what did I just do to make them intimidated? And I realized it's not me at all. It's my energy in how they're responding to it. And it's completely unconscious. But now that I'm consciously aware of, I have tools to get them uh, into their comfort zone again. So, number 3, informing is a way for manifestors to mitigate the negative effects of their aura. So, if you're a manifestor, or you might know a manifestor, sometimes if you know a manifestor, you can feel them walk into the room before you even see, hear, or know they're in the room, right? You can feel them, you feel their energy. And so by informing others of our intentions, for example, if I just get up and walk out of the room, others in the room might feel uncomfortable, like they did something, like I was mad. And this has happened, and I had no idea this was happening, right? Completely unaware. I just went up to get to go to the bathroom. So I went up to go to the bathroom and then came back, and everybody was like, "Are you okay? Are you mad or something?" I'm like, "No, I just went to the bathroom." And they're like, "Oh." So now if I'm in a meeting or what have you, and I get up, I'm like, "I'll be right back. I'm going to the bathroom." And ease just automatically goes into the room. So just informing releases any kind of uncomfortableness or uncertainty or intentions. Just in telling our intentions, "Hey, I'm going to go do this. I'll be right back." "Oh, okay." Or just a moment. I'm going to write down a couple things, and then you'll have my undivided attention. Instead of just writing something down or doing something else. So informing is key. And, informing is huge in marketing and sales. So practice informing. Practice with your manifestor friend, informing. And manifestors practice with others, especially if you're in business, you're an entrepreneur, and you're into sales. Inform people. "Hey, by the way, I have this thing going on. You want more information about it?" "Well, heck yes, I do." So informing is marketing and sales. It helps manifestors to gain allies and support from their actions. "Hey, just to let you know, I got this group going on. Do you want more information about it? You can easily sign up here after you learn more about it. Here's the link." Inform. Now, manifestors do have some rules in their relationships. They need to let others know that being asked or told what to do is not acceptable. You want to discuss what needs to be done and what I would be willing to do and what you're willing to do. But to tell me what to do kind of pushes you out of my space. It's like, "No, you're over there." And so to me, it really does build up a wall. And when somebody starts telling me what to do, I let them know, "No, I'm not able to do that. But I would be able to do this." So I'll kind of let them know and set that boundary that I don't accept being told what to do, even though I'm not outwardly saying, "Don't tell me what to do." But I've developed tools and techniques that create open communication, because we don't want to close down communication. That's really important, especially dealing with any energy type. Doesn't matter what your energy type is. Communication is priority when talking to each other, verbally and non-verbally. So with that said, I want to let you know that we as manifestors are here to live out our unique power and purpose. And by understanding the nature of our impact and embracing the strategy of informing, just letting people know that you can then navigate relationship in a way that minimizes anger and maximizes peace. Because again, anger is the not self. It is not who you are here to be. And it is a complete waste of your precious energy. Peace is our natural state. So we have the tools and techniques to integrate what creates the anger to set up a state of peace. And you can find this peace inwardly, no matter what's happening in your outer world. So it can be complete chaos in your outer world, and you can be at complete peace and knowing inside. And I've had people tell me in emergency situations, I can't believe how calm you were during that. And I didn't realize how calm I was because I stayed in a state of peace. And when you're in a state of peace, you can see more of what's happening. You can hear more of what's happening. You can feel more of what's happening. But when I'm in a state of anger, I can't see nothing else that's going on. I can't hear nothing else that's going on. I can't feel nothing else that's going on. This state disconnects me from what's going on. And even though chaos is going on, I'm in the state of peace. And this is a very powerful place to be. All right, so I did a question. I'm going to be doing a future podcast about manifestors in relationship. So I hope to look forward to that because I know February is coming like before we know it. February is like here. So February is the month of self-love, self-acceptance, self-care. So we're going to be talking more about that in February. And in the meantime, I want to hear from you. I want to know what you loved, and I want to know what you would love more of. And in the meantime, keep being amazing.